What is up, everyone? Today we are making some homemade wine from store-bought grapes that I bought on sale. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to show your support. I greatly appreciate it. Alright, let's catch a buzz on a budget. I bought these black grapes on sale. They were about $1.50 per pound, and I bought about 15 pounds. I prefer the black grapes because they are typically cheaper and also make a full-bodied wine. If you want a lighter flavor, red grapes will give you that. I also got 3 packs of blackberries for about $1.99 each. The blackberries help smooth out the flavor of the wine a bit. And this will make about 4 to 5 bottles of wine, so it's a pretty good deal. So step 1 is crushing all the blackberries and grapes into some sort of stone or ceramic container. I use this 2-gallon stoneware fermentation crock. When picking and crushing the grapes, some of the smaller vines are fine to put in there, but usually I stay away from putting the bigger ones in, just because they are more likely to make a mess when you're stirring this mixture every day. Now, once we have all our grapes and blackberries in here, we want to add some honey. The sugar in the honey will help this ferment, as well as give it a little sweetness. Now, the more honey, the sweeter it will be. I prefer honey over just sugar. This is a natural wine with no added yeast or preservatives. I want to keep it as natural as possible. Now I'm going to use my hands to mix and continue crushing everything as much as I can. Really get in there, really get it down to a good thick pulp. Now once I got it where I want it, I'm going to wipe down the rim and the top of the inside walls to make sure there are no chunks stuck to the walls outside of the juice. Then we're going to cover this with a tea towel, cheesecloth, or kitchen towel and wrap it with a rubber band so nothing can get in. Fruit flies love this, so you want to keep them out. Now this is going to sit at room temp, about 70 to 85 degrees. The warmer it is, the faster it will ferment. It will sit here for about 3 to 5 days depending on the temp. I will stir this about 4 times a day during this process, which is important to keep the mold from forming on top. Now once it gets super bubbly and foamy like this, it means it is fermenting. At this point I will give it another 24 to 48 hours. Now it is time to strain and get this into a carboy. A carboy is a gallon fermentation jug. Now I use a reusable cheesecloth draped over a mesh strainer over a plastic bowl. First ladle as much of the pulp as I can into the cheesecloth. Then I'm going to pick up all the corners and I'm going to twist it at the top until it starts squeezing the juices out. And I try to get as much as I can of the juices out of this pulp. I'll do this a couple times until mostly just the liquid remains in the crock. Then I will pour the rest over the cheesecloth and strainer. And then I will repeat the process of squeezing the cheesecloth and the pulp until I get all the juices out. Now let's get this into a pitcher and help transfer this into the carboy without spilling it all over the place. Next, we're going to use a plastic funnel and pour the wine into the carboy. Make sure your carboy has been sanitized. I use white vinegar to sanitize mine. Now there's a little more than I expected, so we're going to use a second carboy. We're going to fill that with the rest. Now once these are filled, we're going to fill the caps with water. These fermentation caps are great. They allow for all the gases to escape, but no oxygen or pesky fruit flies to go in. Now this is going to sit at room temp for 4 weeks at least. Now after the 4 weeks, it's time to bottle it. I use old wine bottles that I've cleaned and sanitized. Again, I'm using the plastic funnel to transfer it into the bottles. I then move on to corking them. Now, I'm sure there's a better and more proper way to do this, but I'm not about to spend extra money on bottling equipment for this. It's not being sold to anyone, it's just for me, so it's fine. and I've done it this way with no issues so far. So I just use a rubber mallet, hammer them in. And just as an FYI, this wine is not going to be like your store-bought wine. It will be more earthy and it will have sediment. But I like it a lot, and I like doing things more myself anyway. This way I know exactly what is in it, and I don't have to spend a ton of money making it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.